Can you believe it? The 2025 season is officially here. And we're going to break all this down for you. The Titan Bros coming right at you. Good evening. It's Gabriel, your host, per usual. He's got a fantastic episode coming right at you here on a Saturday night. First real preview of the year. But I never do this alone. And I just lied. Sometimes I do this alone. But most of the time I don't. So I would like to introduce to you fine folk, my brother, my co-host, Josiah. Welcome in. Howdy. We're gonna have a good show.
Howdy. How's it going, sir?
It's going. It's going to be fun. Let's get this bad boy going. I'm excited. Should I be excited? No. I mean, we just had our season preview in our last video where you predicted 6 wins. I predicted 7. And I don't think either of us predict this to be a win. But it's still exciting, and it's going to be better than the surrender cobra, the underhand toss while being sacked backwards towards Spears. It's just, I don't think, now famous last words, but I don't think it's going to be as painful as in years past.
Well, I think one thing that's got this season, what gives it some excitement is the fact, yes, we may not win that many games, but we got a quarterback that, we're very intrigued and want to watch and see how he develops. You know what I mean? So even if we lose, but he looks good, that's still, in a way, a good game for us because, I don't think our goal here is a playoffs or Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now you should never take the media and their opinion seriously because so many times you hear them talk about and not know stuff that they're talking about. Like I was seeing somebody ranking the worst, this is like 3 months ago, ranking the NFL's worst wide receiver duos in the NFL. And for the Tennessee Titans, they had Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd as our wide receiver duo. And I'm like, okay. So if you think Tyler Boyd, 1, is still on our roster, and 2, even if he was on our roster, if he's our second guy, like, it's just like you don't know the Tennessee Titans' actual roster. So we shouldn't take the media at their word often, but I've heard so many big name people saying like, oh, the Titans are going to be trash this year. They have no help, but Cam Ward, like that kid looks like he's going to have it. Great prospect. Like we haven't had a prospect this high technically ever. The closest we did was Marcus Mariota with the 2nd overall pick in 2015, which somehow that was 10 years ago, which is insane. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's crazy. How fast time was.
What? Time does fly. Like we were young and now we're middle-aged. It just happens to the best of us. But that being said, let's go ahead and hop right in. Tennessee Titans, as the title said, is Titans v. Broncos, as everyone knows. What do you think? There's no way around it. This is a tall task for 1, any quarterback, but 2, a rookie making his debut.
Yeah, I would say this is really just a bad situation for Cam Ward because it's his, actual first game of the season. And so that's hard enough. Then you're going against a top defense. At least we all predict it's going to be a top defense. That makes it hard. And it's at Mile High, which is a tough place to play on the road. So I was like, man, this really is the opposite of a perfect storm. This is the everything is stacked against you kind of thing, and it's gonna be tough. That kind of sucks because I think we all kind of really want to see Cam Ward look good. But to me, it's easy possible that Cam Ward ends the game with 57% completion percentage, 0 touchdowns, and 1 pick. It's possible to end the game like that.
Yeah, I've actually had the stat line in my head for like months now. I'm not really sure why, but he could end up being the rookie of the year, Cam Ward. But I could easily see, and this is kind of a warning to myself as well. Like I'm trying to tell myself this. Don't overreact to this first game. Because I, for some reason, had these numbers in my head. I could see Cam Ward being 10 of 21, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, like 122 yards.
Mm.
Because I think this is,
And
I think it's the best defense in the league.
yeah, they definitely have some people that they brought in that makes this defense, which is already good, makes it better. Now, granted, here's the thing: the people they brought in does get hurt a lot, but being week one, that doesn't affect us. So they're
No.
going to be healthy this game, and so yeah, you're right. This could be a top defense we're going against. So this is really it's a tall task for Cam Ward, but hey, we draft him number one overall. Now, is he gonna look amazing? Maybe not, but I don't know about you, but I still expect I want to see some throws. Like even if it's just 2 or 3, like that was really good. That's why we brought you in. You know what I mean? I don't want
No.
to see the game where the game ends like I don't know if I saw one single play that made me like, wow, that looks special, you know?
Yeah, I will say though, Cam Ward loves touting the fact that he is a gunslinger and he's gonna sling guns.
And that scales me. It's also exciting.
I was gonna say the same thing. It's like Will Levis was the worst gunslinger in the NFL because he was just slinging the ball around, but he didn't care who was catching it. He just threw it to either
Yeah.
team. He's
Well,
like a person
hey,
and threw it.
gunslingers, there's a lot of gunslingers in the league, but some people make it work and some people don't. And Will Levis was a don't. And now he's kind of changed his ways. But when Mahomes his first couple of years, he was a gunslinger, but he made it work. And he slung it in some place, but he could do it. Will Levis couldn't. So Cam Ward's going to be a gunslinger. Is he going to be one that just throws more picks than you just can't accept that, or is he going to be somebody that still cuts down the turnovers and throws a bunch of touchdowns? Time will tell. But he's
Yeah.
going to be a gunslinger for sure.
Yeah, but like that's basically what I was saying. Will Levis was a gunslinger, had all of the downfalls of a gunslinger, but none of the advantages. Like he just didn't throw
No.
many touchdowns. He didn't throw many completions, seemingly. Loved picks. They were kind of his thing. He liked to fumble as well. He was even fancy with the way he did it. He'd find all kinds of ways to do it. So Cam Ward, he's a gunslinger. I really hope and expect by season's end we will see some of the positive of him being a gunslinger. But yeah, obviously, if we're saying, oh, matchups we're looking for, what's something you're keeping an eye on this game? Obviously, everybody knows Cam Ward, he's going to be the number one as his number and his draft position would say. He's the number one thing on everybody's list, everyone's radar that they're looking at for this game. Which part of me says I want to skip over to him, but our whole offseason, we almost never talked about Cam Ward. Because I'd be like, every preseason game. So what are you looking forward to most? Well, obviously it's Cam Ward, so we're not going to say Cam Ward, and we go on to something else. Or what rookie do you think is going to have the biggest impact besides obviously Cam Ward? So skip over him. So we kept doing that all offseason long. That I feel like we actually never gave Cam Ward the discussion he deserves. But I'll be honest, I shouldn't be, especially with the stat line I just threw at you that I think you could easily have. But I am excited to see him put a full body of work in.
Yeah, it's something more than 7 passes a game, which is what basically he had in all 3 preseason games. It is going to be nice to see him go through the highs and lows in a game.
Mm-hmm.
How's he going to respond to a bad pass, maybe even a bad pick? How's he, stuff like that. He didn't really get a chance to do that preseason, so he's going to have a whole 60 minutes to work with. I'm looking forward to that. We'll see, but I just feel like Cam Ward, at least in his college career, he's done well responding to adversity. So I expect him to do that.
I agree. Caleb Nunez, Caleb, my son is named Caleb, so fantastic name. He says the Denver Broncos are going to show Cam Ward isn't a stater. It's probably supposed to be starter. Need to have more than a rocket to survive this league. My Broncos defense going to shut your offense down. It's mediocre at best. So we got a Broncos fan here. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I am not a blindly optimistic fan. I used to be until I was broken a couple of years ago. I do expect we're going to get our butts kicked. Like if I was giving out a score prediction, I would go ahead and throw this out there. I think we lose 27-13, but I feel like they'll get to 24 pretty early on. It'll be like 24-3. I could see it being like 24-3 where they completely let off the gas. And that's when we get a touchdown and a field goal late, and they just kick like a meaningless field goal on a fumble by Tony Pollard or something like that to make it a 27-13. So if I was given a score prediction, that is what I honestly think is going to happen.
See, I was thinking this earlier today, what I was going to say, and I said 27-17. So I actually had us doing a little better than you, and that 17 might be a little ambitious though with that defense the Broncos have.
Mm-hmm.
But But at the same time, like you said, you never know. Garbage touchdown. The game's already lost or whatever. We score a touchdown at the end. But 17-27 sounds good to me.
Yeah, let me put it this way. I think Cam Ward's second half is going to be way better than his first half.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Because again, I said this before you got in here, Caleb, but I think that the Broncos had the number one defense in the league. I personally think that they got more sacks than any team last year. They had the reigning defensive MVP who was in the secondary. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think they got another corner in the first round this year. So it's like the rich get richer over there. And honestly, I feel like they almost should have actually gotten a wide receiver because I think you need more than Cam Sutton. Like you need a high end receiver over there. But that's another conversation for a different day. But that defense is going to be scary. And Cam Ward's making his first start. It's probably going to get ugly. Caleb comes back and says, it's all right. I've been broken the last decade. We've been out, but look forward to first game of season. Good luck, gentlemen. Thank you. Good luck to you and your Broncos. Obviously, I hope you take the L, but I obviously do not predict you take the L one little bit. I think you'll be feasting on one of these right here, as old famous Jameis would say. Which that guy's a clown. He's funny. So, apart from obviously Cam Ward versus the number one defense in the league, what other matchups do you have your eyes on, Josiah?
I have two. Do you want me to say them both? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is who's going to be our number 2 pass catcher? And because I think Calvin Ridley's going to have a good season, might have a good game here. But who's going to be our number 2? Because if Calvin Ridley's it, you can double team him and take him away. So who's going to be that second option for Cam Ward? And I'm just kind of curious to see. Like that's what I'm keeping an eye on. I don't have an answer to that. Is it going to be Chig? Is it going to be Lockett? Is it going to be Elikai Emmanuel? Who is it going to be? But don't you agree? Someone else has to step up.
I 100% agree.
Because Calvin Ridley is good, but he's not that where you can't do nothing with him. Like a Justin Jefferson. Like you double team him, you're gonna take him out of the game. Someone else has to step it up.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. I feel like Calvin Ridley is that perfectly where some people say he's not number one. He is the best number 2 receiver in the league, but not a number 1. Some people say he's a low end number 1. This is a perfect opportunity for him to try to solidify himself as a number 1 wide receiver. Would you agree with that? Because if he come out here and go against this Broncos secondary and he can have himself a game, that would be huge for him. It would be huge for Cam Ward, the connection they got there. Do I predict it's going to happen? Probs not. Is what I'm hoping is they still have to double team him. Because if their number 1 corner, Patrick Surtain, can take him, if just single coverage can take him out of a game, we're probably really toast.
Yeah. But Patrick Surtain is one of the best cornerbacks in the league, so that's the scary thing.
Reigning defensive player of the year, which you don't see corners get it that often. I guess you've got Stephon Gilmore got it about 5 years ago or so, but still. So I agree. Tyler Lockett might be a safe guy there, but I feel like Tyler Lockett doesn't have the juice anymore at his age. And he looked like, I feel like you never heard his name our entire offseason long.
Yeah.
Whether it was preseason, whether it was preseason, or whether it was training camp or anything. I just feel like I don't know. He was a big nothing burger. I would love to see Elikai Manor do something, but him climbing the ranks so quickly in the offseason and then expect him to immediately really produce for you in the first week is kind of a tall task. But I agree with you there.
All right. My second is I am curious. I'm assuming Cedric Gray starting.
Yeah.
I want to see what he does against a real game, because how many times do you have a story that's pretty cool in the preseason, and then once the regular season starts, it kind of means nothing anymore. You almost forget about it by week 3, and it just shows you that was just a bunch of nothing. Every training camp of preseason has that. Cedric Gray looked really good in the preseason, but how's he going to look now? Now it's the regular season. You're going to get starters. Is he going to look bad again, or is he? Did he figure it out? Which a lot of Titan people said, oh, it looks like he figured it out. Did he actually figure it out? We'll find out. I'm keeping a close eye because he looked good in preseason. Now, is he going to look like that now?
I mean, that's a good question. Very good question. I was surprised that he won that. Good. I was surprised he won the linebacker starting job.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, what are you looking forward to?
let's see. If I try to pick something on offense and defense, a little matchup, a little something I'm looking at. Let's say on defense, and I saw somebody else saying this, and it might have been the 33rd team guys, but I think it was who said it. But they were saying it's a big time strength on strength matchup. Our defensive line, not edge rushers, but like our defensive line versus their offensive line. And I'm very interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, we should see Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons. I would like to see them both be a really good pair. I think last year I wanted to see a little more. Sweat wasn't bad. Simmons is never horrible, but I still want to see Simmons do better. So I just want to see them both maybe up the game just a little bit.
My biggest issue with Simmons, it's like he's fragile but tough. It's like he gets hurt all the time, but then he plays through the injury. But once he's trying to play through the injury, it's clearly he's injured and not as good.
Yes, he does that a lot.
But like he needs to have him a couple sack game.
Yeah,
like he used to do that every now and again. Like I think it was
yes.
It was either the Rams.
Rams, yep.
Was it the Rams? He got 3. I think he had 3 sacks.
That game, yep. I remember that. I think one was a safety.
I think so too. It was
a
fantastic game.
I just want to see him step it up. I want to see Sweat because I feel like you look at those two. I'm like, it should be. You just can't run up the middle. Okay, you have to run at sides. But that wasn't the case last game. Last year especially the Commandos. But I feel like there's a lot of games that they ran all over us, and the Commandos was one of them. But I just want to see those two show up that because if they can do that, that helps us a little more on focusing on the pass. If we can have 2 people to anchor it down the middle and stop that run.
Yeah. Now here's one other thing: if our edge rushers, which I just slurred all that like I'm drunk. Edge rushers, our edge rushers, if they don't get home, the number one thing I should be keeping an eye on because it's time for me to really put to the test what I've been saying. My bold take that I have had all season long, all off season long, is that L'Jarius Sneed's going to come back from injury and maybe not go back to top 5 cornerback like he was with the Chiefs, but go to like top 13 to 9 cornerback. That's been my bold prediction. And he's just going to quietly go back into that role. And who knows, maybe our secondary gets torched, but it's because they're throwing somewhere else away from Sneed. It's time to put that to the test because if Sneed can put the clamp down on Cameron Sutton and then they don't have any overly impressive pass catchers apart from him, it could make it a little bit tough anyway for Bo Nix.
That's a good point. Yeah, that would be awesome. I just want to see Sneed play. What we traded for to get this guy, the contract. I'm like, I want to see him play. He didn't play much last year. He hasn't done anything this offseason hardly. I was like, man, this guy, I almost forget about him. I was like, get out there and actually show that you're still a top cornerback.
He's officially listed as questionable.
I saw that.
But I think everybody just acts like he's going to play.
Okay, I hope so. I will say, Bo Nix, I would like to put some pressure on him because I think I like him a little better than you do, but I really like Bo Nix, and I feel like we have to put pressure on him or he could just cook us all day.
I mean, he came on strong for sure at the second half of that season. Like, I think I heard A to Z Sports say it, that I think it was week 4 before he finally threw his first touchdown pass.
Yeah, I remember him starting slow where a lot of people could turn him off, and then he just killed it.
Yeah, which hopefully that's kind of something that happens to Cam Ward. And if Cam Ward has that stat line I talked about earlier, hopefully we can have this conversation like, maybe he's having a Bo Nix type season where he starts off slow and I was like, whatever. And they move on with their life and then he finishes the season. Nice.
I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure his first 2 games was 0 touchdown, 2 picks.
Yes.
And then, it was. And then he ended up with 29 touchdowns and like 12 picks, something like that.
I think it's 27 and 12.
Okay. So
I think it was.
I want to say 29, but maybe it's 27. But so if you take that away, that's like 27 touchdowns and 8 picks. So I'm like, that's pretty good. Gabe's got to look this up.
Got to look it up on the old computer. I've never actually looked up something on the computer during the show. So we'll see how this goes. Bo Nix. Oh, you are correct. 29.
That's pretty good stat line for a rookie.
Especially when you go the first 3 or 4 games without a single touchdown. All right.
So moving on. To throw 29 touchdowns this year.
That would be fantastic. That'd be
very. To be honest, I want to see a quarterback just throw 20 plus.
It's been a while. Last time I think we had a quarterback though that was 20. I think it was 21 on the dot. was Ryan Tannehill in 2021 because nobody did in 2022 because Tannehill was in and out with injury. 2023, Tannehill got benched for Will Levis, which that's an insane sentence. That the second best quarterback in the Titans era got benched for Will Levis. So obviously neither of them threw for 20 touchdowns, and obviously nobody sniffed 20 touchdowns last year. So yeah, it'd be 2021. I think he was 21 touchdowns, and I don't remember how many picks he had, but yeah, it's been a while. I'd like to see him break it. So there's my defensive prediction, not prediction, but thing I'm watching for if we can get Cameron Sutton shut down by L'Jarius Sneed. Good.
Something I didn't point out in my stuff I'm keeping an eye on, but I don't know about you, but I am this offensive line. I am curious to see it. Now the problem is, offensive lines take a while to gel. Lloyd Cushenberry's been, dealing with an injury, and so is Dan Moore, and so is JC Latham. Has he been out? Have I
He was. I forget what the injury was, but he's good to go. Like he's not even on the injury report.
Okay, either way, the people's been in and out. Besides our guards. But so it might take a couple weeks for them to jail. But I am gonna keep an eye on them this week. And can they protect Cam Ward? Because I don't know you, but that's huge. I don't want to see Cam Ward running for his life. I just don't see that.
No, that's not gonna be good for anyone.
Nope.
Besides the opposing team. All right, so let me think of an offense as something that I know I should come up with these things before we actually hit go live. But so defensively, I'm looking at Sneed versus Cameron Sutton. On offense, I am looking at, let's say, Tony Pollard. If they have a really good secondary, and they were the number 1 in sacks last year, and Spears is out again, it's going to be the Tony Pollard show once again. Can Tony Pollard take a little bit of burden off of Cam Ward to where everything's not on his shoulders? Because sadly, this is my biggest gripe with Brian Callahan. I've said it several times. I think he runs the dang ball too much. Like if we were going to run that much, we really should have signed Derrick Henry. Because Mary signed it's a 2-year, $14 million. He's taking like $7 million a year, and we gave almost which is insane to me. We gave almost the exact same contract to Tony Pollard, so we were just done with Henry.
And I would say this: I hate that Tajay Spears is hurt because Tony Pollard, I think, is a good back, but he gets beaten down because he's not a big guy at the end of the year. So I really wanted this year us to kind of take some workload off of him, but we really can't do that right now.
No, we cannot.
So that's kind of frustrating to me. But I agree. At least for this week, I hope we run well and be able to take some of that pressure off of Cam Ward for sure. Because I want to see Cam Ward do some play actions and stuff. But if there's stuff in the run, then the play actions won't work as well.
Agreed. I agree. I just knocked my phone across the room, so hopefully I don't need that for a little bit. So there's our matchups that we're looking for. I'm going to end the video with a game that doesn't have to take as long. I want you to give me 3 reasons, and we'll take turns, so that way you can come up with stuff, because I'm kind of throwing this on you. Give me 3 reasons. We both predict we're going to lose this game, and it could get ugly. Give me 3 reasons why you could see us winning. I'll start. Number 1, what does Kyle Brandt and Gabriel Pilcher love to say? I don't know who started. I don't know if he's copying me or I'm copying him. But week 1 is a liar. Yeah. Every single year, teams that have no rights getting beat, like terrible teams beating great teams, or great teams getting beat by just a mid team, or just a really bad team beating a mid team, just anything. There's at least 2 every single year. So while I think this is a tough draw for Cam Ward in week 1, going against possibly the number 1 defense in the league, I think them having 0 tape on Cam Ward in the NFL and a Brian Callahan offense could give us an advantage. That's one reason for optimism.
You kind of said what I was going to say is the fact that since Cam Ward has not played any games in the NFL yet, that the Broncos really don't have. I mean, they have college tape, but they haven't seen Cam Ward with Callahan yet. So there's no tape to watch with that. So maybe Cam Ward could come out there and surprise, how we're using him, how we, what we're doing and stuff. And because of that, there's not tape on him. That actually might work to our advantage. And the Broncos defense, which is good, will take a little bit of a while to adjust to what we're doing, and we will be able to put it up enough points in that point to win the game.
Indeed. My second reason for optimism about this game, and now maybe this is just showing my lack of Broncos knowledge, or I'm just being overly positive. Do they have an elite run game?
Can't remember.
Not really. And they're wide receivers. They're tight ends. They're skill position players. I should have just said it that way. Maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but do you feel like it's not great?
It's not great.
It's
by
not
name,
bad.
but Sean Payton can make it work.
Right. There's basically the whole thing where people would say Vrabel had the Titans playing games they had no business being in. I feel like sometimes Sean Payton can do that for an offense, I guess, or just for a team in general. But like, if you look on paper at the Broncos' skill position, again, very mid, as the kids say, in my opinion. And even though there is a world, especially if L'Jarius Sneed doesn't play or doesn't play well, where our defense is not good either, but there's a world where if Bo Nix has a bit of a sophomore slump, which sophomore slumps have been becoming great again. Because I feel like there for a while there were no sophomore slumps. People were taking their big jump from year 1 to year 2, like rookies were. But I feel like there's been a lot of sophomore slumps lately, where some people like Mac Jones had a fantastic rookie season, then he just slumped his career away. And then like just last year, now I sadly predict he'll bounce back from it, but CJ Stroud did have quite a slump from his first year, where he was electric, to his second year where he was serviceable. He was fine. So that's my second reason for optimism, is that maybe Bo Nix will have a second year slump. Do I predict it? Not really. Could I see it? Yeah.
I'm gonna say, give me 3 choices. That's hard to do because I don't know if there's 3 reasons for us to win this game. Let's see here. Also, you threw this on top of me without me really thinking about it.
I did. Well, I kind of threw it on top of myself. So you can't think of one reason why we could possibly pull out a dub here, besides week 1 being a liar.
Yeah, and I think the Broncos are a lot better than us, so there's not many ways for us to beat them. And it's at home, because we was on, if it's in Nashville, like, we got the home crowd or whatever, but it's in Mile High. I guess maybe you could say our best defensive players, who's always hurt, I feel like, is not hurt, and that's Sneed and Jeffrey Simmons. So, about as healthy as they can be in week 1. So we don't know how long that will last, but at least for this week, we know that they're going to come out there and hopefully play their best game. That was a bad one.
Lame.
There's not that many reasons to pick the Titans.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, I know we used to say this about Will Levis. This is funny. I can't believe I'm about to say this. But we said this about Will Levis and the Titans last year. So the Titans are going to go as far as Will Levis takes us. I kind of feel like I could say the same thing with these Broncos. Like, I think the Broncos have an elite defense and a good enough offense that if Bo Nix is good, if he builds off what he was last year, they could be really, really like top 3 AFC team. But if he regresses, I could also see them being a 9-8 team, and that either maybe does or maybe does not get them into the playoffs. So I think they're going to go as far as Bo Nix takes them. There's your yawn. Does that usually means when it's time to close up shop when I start seeing you yawn?
I would say no, they're way too good for 9-8. But the only reason I would give that to you is they're in maybe what would be the best division in the league. Chiefs are tough. Chargers are tough, who just beat the Chiefs. And then the Raiders, I think, is going to be better than they have been. So the only reason the Broncos will ever be 9-8, because they do have a tough division. They might all beat each other up. But I do think the Broncos will be pretty good this year. So I don't think I can really give you 3 reasons why the Titans will win. Other than everybody that's starting for the Broncos, I don't know, Tristan ankles or something. And then we're playing against a bunch of backups.
Interesting. You're very positive today.
Well, I call that to see it. This is not a match. So go ahead.
I was gonna say, that being said, I absolutely think we get beat. In fact, I thought we get beat worse than you. Because you say 27-17 we lose. I say 27-13 we lose. I like yours better. I don't like either of them. I like yours better. So, any closing shots? Closing shot. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Go Titans. Tighten up. And I'm excited. I am, but it's just as I just laid it out to you, there's not many ways for us to win this game. And I'm like, it just sucks just to lose in week 1. But I'm excited. Cam Ward, let's see what you got. Callahan, I hope you have a great game plan cooked up, and let's see if you can upset him.
This is another video altogether, so I shouldn't even say this because we're getting ready to hit end stream button. But take the training wheels off. Now, maybe it's because he didn't trust Will Levis at all, nor should he. But I really feel like with Will Levis, and honestly, even with Mason Rudolph, I feel like Callahan really had some training wheels on those kids because he was afraid of what they were going to do if he took them off. So maybe I shouldn't say this. Maybe have them on for the first drive or two. After that, this is just a throwaway season, in my opinion. This is just a season to see what the young guys can do. I'm not saying be stupid, but let Cam Ward play quarterback. Let him throw the dang ball around and see what happens. Worst case scenario, we lose a game. Guess what? Last year with the training wheels on the quarterbacks,
We still lost games.
14 games that we had to sit there and watch. So that's my closing parting request, plea.
No, that's a good one, and I agree with that. It's like if you play safe with Cam Ward, guess what? We're still gonna lose. So I kind of say let Cam Ward make his mistakes and don't treat him with your white gloves. So whatever the saying is, but like let him go out there and make his mistakes. Let him grow. Let him play the way Cam Ward wants to play. I don't want us just to see us do like check it down. Let Cam Ward throw it all over the place. That's what he does. Let him do it. Good or bad, let him do it.
I agree. Completely agree. All right. Well, again, it's exciting. Should we be excited tomorrow night? I already told my wife. Just know around 7:15ish, I'm going to be in a bad mood. Just get ready for it. So should I be excited about the Tennessee Titans season starting tomorrow? No, I shouldn't, but here I am. I'm excited. I'm giddy. I'm giggly. And I'll probably have a little more trouble falling asleep tonight than I should. So that said, tighten up. Next video is going to be us recapping to the dreadful performance, trying not to overreact to the 3 interception game that Cam Ward has. But regardless, we'll be back and we'll break it all down with you fine folk. So tighten up, peace out, and all of that jazz.